Unfortunately, the wedding's not going to go ahead today. But Kaylee does want you all to stay and join.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So in today's video is about these heartbreaking and empowering stories. Imagine spending months, maybe even years, planning your dream wedding. The dress, the venue, the flowers, the guest list, the vows, even little details accounted for. You are standing there at the altar, your heart pounding, waiting for the love of your life to walk in and steal the zeal. And then they never show up. That's exactly what happened to one woman, but what she did next shocked everyone. She told her guests to stay and enjoy the party. So you heard me right. So I've put the videos together so that you watch. I'll be back, share my 2 cents.
Unfortunately, the wedding's not going to go ahead today. But Kaylee does want you all to stay and join her partying tonight.
And if you can, try not to be negative. If you can.
Hi everyone, I want to answer this question about how I broke the news to my guests on my wedding day that the groom wasn't going to come, but I still wanted to carry on with the party. I actually have a video about how my 2 maids of honour, my sister and my best friend Katie and Geordie, broke the news to the guests, so I'll actually show that at the end, but I just want to give a bit of context behind how this came about. So whilst at the Airbnb, whilst my sister was redoing my makeup, after I found out that the groom wasn't going to show up, my ex wasn't going to show up, I wanted her to redo my makeup because I just needed to look better, just to help me feel better, if that makes sense. And then whilst we're doing my makeup, I made a decision after I heard, I was speaking to my sister about how there was still a part of me that was gonna miss the party, seeing my friends, seeing loved ones I hadn't seen in ages, how people had travelled from Ireland, Scotland, and came down to and spent money to come down and celebrate this wedding. And I was still saying to my sister how I wanted to celebrate and see my loved ones, and she actually referred to a joke that my photographer videographer made and how I should still carry on with the wedding day because they knew how much I paid them, let alone how much I paid for the rest of the wedding. And then I was kind of like, well, why don't I do it? And it just clicked, and I was like, I want to carry on with the party, and I want to just do it. And as soon as my sister heard me say that, she was like, let's do it. Let's just go with it. We told all the bridesmaids, everyone, and we were like, okay, let's just do it. And I was like, let's get into my dress because I've only got my pajamas and my dress to wear. So I was like, let's go with the dress because it was like my armor for the day, and it just made me feel beautiful. It's like, it was incredible. The dress was, and so I asked the videographer photographer to go down to the venue. As we made our way down, they made down before because I wanted them to explain to the venue organisers what happened. When I was kind of making my way down there, I asked if all the guests can be brought into the ceremony room because I didn't want them waiting outside. I didn't want to see anybody outside. I just wanted to come and there be a bit of peace first of all. As I arrived, my maids of honour were outside. Everyone was in the ceremony room. They spoke to me. I'm like, how do you want to do it? And I was like, can you guys do it? Can you break it to my guests? And they were like, absolutely. They didn't second guess themselves. They were like, she needs us to do this. We've got to do it. We want to do it. And they did it, and they handled it perfectly. Show you the video now. And honestly, they couldn't have done it any better. It just shows the kind of raw emotions that everybody was in at that time after finding out. And whilst that was going on, I stayed outside and spoke to the registrars. They obviously were just kind of devastated for me, explained how this has never happened before for them. The venue organisers were like, okay, what do you want to do? How do we want to go? And I was just telling them, I just want to go with the flow. I want to go with what I feel in the moment. I just break the news to the guests. After then, we broke the news. The guests came out to the courtyard, and I walked around a bush in my wedding dress after I kind of spoken to my brother. I cried a little bit, and all my guests just sobbed, cheered, and just were there for me for the rest of the day. And it was just a truly beautiful moment that I won't forget. So I do apologise, actually about to switch off the camera, but what I'll do now, I'll go into the video now. Why was being left at the altar and carrying on with the party one of the best things that's ever happened to me. Honestly, when I look back on that day now, I'm so thankful it happened the way that it did. I'm so thankful that my ex-partner left me on my wedding day, because I think if he had left me days and days before, weeks before, I probably wouldn't have carried on with the party. I wouldn't have got to wear my wedding dress. My mum wouldn't have got to see me on a day that I knew that I made her so proud, and wouldn't have got to see me in a wedding dress. And I wouldn't have got to have experienced the things after that, probably once in a lifetime moments that I've had to experience. So yeah, honestly, I'm so thankful he left me on the day, because if I had married him, I would have ended up being divorced, because I would have found out what I found out after the wedding eventually, and would have made me want to divorce him. Again, not cheating, just certain things, certain lies and dishonesties that I found out that I wouldn't have been able to get over, because and I'm just honestly so thankful that I decided to carry on with the wedding day the way that I did, because I got to like walk in with my bridesmaids and groomsmen, so Liz was good as hell. I got to cut the cake with my bridesmaids. I got to sit on the top table with all of my with most of my bridesmaids. Like the speeches they made were just so pure, and just about like their love for me, and like the love for like the friends and families around me. Like I got to dance with my dad. So I never thought I'd dance with my dad. It's an American thing to dance with your dad at a wedding, but I've always wanted that when I saw it. My dad's not the typical man to go and dance on the dance floor. He'll sit at the side of the bar on the table drinking his beer and whatever. So obviously once he found out that what happened, he came up to me and was like, look, and he knew that I wanted to carry on with the party. He was like, I will dance with you. And I was like, I am taking this moment and running with it. It's like, you've said it, put out there, I'm doing it. And I did it. I got to dance with my brother as a groomsman, and I got to have a day that I can look back on and be really, really proud of myself, because I achieved that. I did that. And honestly, I look back on that day with the fondest of memories. I wish I could go back and do it now with the brain that I've got now and the mindset I've got now, because I promise you, I would not have cried. I wouldn't have had panic attacks. I wouldn't have sat on the sidelines at some points. I wouldn't have cried while I was eating my food or any of that. Those moments wouldn't have happened. It would have just been a day of pure joy and love. Not that it wasn't, but it would have been just more so. So yeah, that is probably why I'm so thankful my ex left me on our wedding day.
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my two cents, like what I think about today's video. Okay, the bride was left at the altar. This is not just a story about being left at the altar. It's a story about grace under pressure, heartbreak in real time. It's the kind of inner strength of most of us hope we never had to summon. So let's get into it, because this one has layers. Now before we jump in, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We dive into real stories like this and breaking them down for you. So it's a beautiful afternoon. The guests are all seated, everyone's dressed up, flowers are blooming, there is a soft music playing in the background. The bride is glooming, she's lost, just in love. She's excited, nervous, yes, but not the kind of nervous that's rooted in happiness. She's finally getting her fairy tale, but then the groom is dead. 10 minutes later, 15, 30, 13, and people start whispering, maybe traffic, maybe he's lost, maybe something serious happened. But the truth hits hard when someone finally steps up and tells her he's not coming. Now pause there. So let's just sit in the moment for a second. All eyes on her. Some people start crying, some start shaking their heads, others are already trying to find the guy's number. Maybe even texting like, are you serious right now? But the bride, instead of running out in tears or breaking down, takes a deep breath, and then she does something wild. She walks up and told her sister and her bridesmaid so that they should tell the people that they shouldn't go. She wants to continue with the party. Can you imagine the strength it takes to say that? To put your own heartbreak aside for a moment and think, you know what? I'm not going to let this ruin me. I'm not going to let him humiliate me twice, because let's be honest, the moment he left her at the altar, that was his failure, not hers. I've seen people on social media call her everything from a queen to an icon. And I agree, this wasn't just a wedding, it became a celebration of her resilience, her spirit, and refusal to be defined by someone else. Okay? There's this video clip going around of her dancing and all these drinking, surrounded by bridesmaids. And you know what I saw in the freedom? She took back her narrative in real time. Now I know some people might say, well, maybe she's pretending she's okay, or that's just shock. And maybe that's true. Maybe the real tears came later in private. But still, the moment was hers. She chose to own it instead of hiding from it. And in today's world, where so many of us feel pressure to appear perfect or hide our pain, what she did was raw and real. Let's also talk about how this whole situation shed light on something we don't often discuss enough: emotional abandonment. Being left at the altar is not just an embarrassment, it's about broken trust, crushed dreams, and the terrifying feelings of what now. It's easy to judge from outside, but it takes serious courage to stand there, broken heart, and stay. I still go, I'm going to rise. I've seen weddings where people stay together when they probably shouldn't have, out of fear, but of pressure, or out of obligation, but walking away. On this case, being left, it often opens the door to something most honesty. As painful it is, it's real. At the end of the day, it's better to left before the vows than to be betrayed after. One part that really stood out to me was how the guests responded. From what I heard, they didn't just park and leave, they stayed, they danced, they toasted her, they made her feel seen and loved. And the kind of community support, that's everything. It's remind that no matter how deep pain is, you're not alone. Sometimes the family you build is stronger than the one you thought you were going to marry. Let's not pretend this kind of thing doesn't leave scars. It does. These these are going to be questions, trust issues, probably some therapy sessions, and that's okay. Healing is linear, but her choice to stay in the moment, to keep going, even in just for a few more hours. Something says powerful. Heartbreak does not get the final say. And can we also just side eye the groom for a second? Like, let's call this what it is. Ghosting someone is bad, but ghosting them at the altar, that's not just inconsiderate, it's cruel. There are 1,000 ways to express fear, doubt, or regret. And this was the worst one. Whatever his reasons, his silence spoke volumes. And unfortunately for him, the world saw it unfold. If you can't handle the commitment, don't make the proposal. Don't drag someone to the edge of their dream just to push them off it. But the bride, she turned the free fall into flight. She made a choice, and in doing that, she gave too many people watching her so they need more courage to face their own heartbreak. So, what can we take away from this? You're allowed to fall apart, but you're allowed to rise again. Don't let someone else's decisions shrink your value. And three, sometimes the biggest power move is smiling through the pain and dancing anyway. I hope this story reminds you that even when life hands you the most unexpected kind of pain, you can still turn it into power. If you ever been through a heartbreak, abandonment, or betrayal, let this woman strengthen you, inspire you. You don't have to pretend it hurts you, but you also don't have to let it define you. That's all for today. If you made this far, thank you for watching. Drop a comment down below. What would you have done in her shoes? Would you have stayed and parted, or would you walk away? Let's talk about it in the comment section. And if you got a story you think the world needs to hear, you already know, hit me up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification for reels just like this. Send your love, strength, and all good vibes, whether you're healing, thriving, or just trying to make it through. Bye.